Hi. Today uh, I want to kind of do a bit of an analysis uh, on like a two-player game on a size uh, 6 board, uh, and yeah, I kind of want to see where it goes. But my idea is to kind of focus on building both players kind of trying to build a lot of towns, and so I'm kind of going to be playing, as both sides. I'm going to kind of be diving into different possibilities. Um, so yeah, that's the rough idea for today. Okay, so first idea we're kind of looking at is, look, so player one here, the blue player, build 2 towns, um, right, and then red is building 4 towns. So the whole idea is to try to threaten the other player, right? So I mean, the most immediate threat is like, at some point you build enough towns where if the other player has, any part of, kind of any space beside them exposed, you just place rebel, right? You can imagine that. That's pretty straightforward. Uh, okay, so the question comes like, uh, the question is like, at what point do you start worrying? Well, uh, before red moves kind of here, right? Blue is threatening what? Blue has 4 actions. So next turn, so could place, for example, road, 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 and then something here, either nobility or, uh, you know, and there's different kind of ways you could also like get towns and then place something here. But the point is that blue can only reach up to here. Having said that, of course, red doesn't want to approach like this, right? Um, there's also other ideas like, um, so does red kind of, so in red, if red wants to place 4 towns, do they leave the opening here? So like the next move might be something like this. That's an idea. If like the thing about roads is that placing more roads lets you place more towns, right? So that's why you would place a road, uh, right? Is if you're kind of greedy and you want more and more range, right? Uh, but placing a road kind of wastes an action unless you place it here. So in this case, this puts both players closer to each other. But if we go kind of off to the side, then it doesn't actually change the distance between both players. So this is kind of more of an in-your-face approach, and it all kind of depends on like precise like calculations, which one's right. So that's what I kind of want to try to figure out. Okay, so there's 2 ideas I'm kind of debating for blue. Um, and one of them is really like maybe about 3 separate ideas. Okay, so some options are, so basically, is it? I don't know why I have a 4th town here. So we can either um, have a road in place. And if we have a road in place, then there's the danger of red freezing blue. So that means that we basically have to have a neutral guard. Okay. So we could go. So here's some ideas I've explored. So there's something like this. Okay. So the general theme with road, neutral guard, 2 towns is the general theme. Okay. Is let's move these aside for now. Is red coming in right here with placing a town like this, I'm going 2, and then 3, 4. So, kind of getting really in your face as blue, and also having these kind of strong nobility that, right, are really just all, 2 actions from destroying you, 1 and 2, right, and are pretty hard to get rid of because of this neutral guard that you placed. So that kind of feels unfavorable. What other configurations have I thought of? I thought of like a more open one like this as well, but that I feel like kind of, so 1 faces similar problems. We could do, I guess we pretty much want to do a road right here. 2, 3, 4. I don't know about this road. You could place it somewhere else, but you need to get that range. Either that, or you could walk a nobility, right? 1, 2, and place 3. Sorry. So 1, 2, walk, and then 4. Right. Same idea. We are we have this like serious threat going on. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the kind of yeah. So the last idea was something like this, right? It was a 3, and we go, you know. Oh well, I just realized that this is just bad because this is just bad. 1, 2, and then destroy. Okay, so yeah, that's not an idea. Okay, so what's my point? My point is that this road is all about being kind of ambitious and trying to get more build range eventually, but I think it's not worth it. I think that, if you have 3 of these, like 3 of these already, is pretty safe, right? So because red goes, builds this town, 2, and then what? Can't really do, too much to blue this turn immediately. So can't destroy blue at least. So I think that's what we're going to explore. Plus, blue has another action from here, right? So we could probably use that in some way. Okay, so I think I want to say that, let's say maybe blue goes on the offensive. Let's kind of assume that blue can afford to do that. And then yeah, so it goes here. So another thing really as red is that we haven't decided where, so everything that we've kind of talked about so far is also applicable if we shuffle our towns around. So technically red could also choose to do this, for example. I think is possibly decent. Maybe even like off to the side and then place a neutral guard here. That's an idea. So we're going to be kind of analyzing this situation from blue while figuring out, we definitely want all these towns in place, but we want to figure out another, something from, we could shuffle them around from red, and now we want to figure out what to do as red. One thing we kind of want to debate. So like one idea is to kind of, as red, one thing that you could do is you could trade moves. So for example, there's like the threat of like 1, 2, and then 3, right? That's a serious threat. This could be made regardless of if it's here. Something like this doesn't help, right? So that's a 3 3-action threat right there. And so something like a single rebel doesn't really, eliminate that threat, because you go bam, and then bam, bam. Oh, but this is interesting. Does this eliminate it? So if we're over here, and then we just do this, then blue could go one, um, uh, two. Oh, actually, there's 1, 2, 3. Destroy. Interesting, right? Um, yeah. So there's this idea, right, that placing a rebel is kind of like trade a move for a move, right? Which is okay, right? A move for a move is okay. Ideally, you want to be trading like, uh, you know, cripple blue, with like one move, so that blue has to respond with several moves. That's kind of how you get ahead, I guess. Um, there's also like kind of like unreversible ideas of like unreversible things, right? So such as like taking up space, right? Then requires you to, blue to take up space, right? So the kind of you negate the effect of the rebel, but you don't negate the space that the rebel takes up, which is also like, a finite resource that blue has in this position. Okay. So I think there's good defenses. So for example, 1, 2, 3, right? But kind of feels like you're on the defensive, right? And you could throw out you could also throw this in here to and really, what's that gonna do? Really, all it's gonna do is, uh, I guess that's pretty good, because then so you make blue lose an action to do something like this, right? Uh, yeah. Uh, yeah. There's some threat there. Um, so like the idea is to like throw a kind of an equivalent threat onto blue. Um, right? Like with this red piece there. It's a little weaker though, because blue doesn't have to like fill in this tile like red does, right? So if you could throw an equivalent thread back after like somebody just like threatened you a certain way, that's like pretty strong. But here blue actually has an extra action to respond. Uh, so that's an idea. So this is like a pretty safe approach, uh, right? There's kind of more kind of volatile ideas, right? So you could not do the wall. So what's the deal with the wall? The wall prevents blue from unfreezing, right? Uh, so you can't. So blue's range only goes up to here, right? Yeah. Uh, so yeah. Uh, yeah, can't unfreeze. You could try to do 1, 2, and then what? This piece is kind of weak already. Kind of. Uh, it'd be almost better to just uh start with a new piece right here. Um, something like that, right? Maybe even. Mm, is that a good idea? I don't know. I don't know. That just kind of brings everything really close, right? But yeah. So 1, 2. Uh, then what do you do? I don't really know. If you give yourself, like, you really don't have that much space. Uh, you could, of course. do something like 3-4. Now that seems kind of weak because like that's trapped. So it, you know, uh, and like you're really just giving up your own piece right there for the sake of this attack. Although this takes 3 actions, 1, 2, 3. Uh, yeah. So there's in that case there's interesting base trading ideas for blue. I think red is strong with that if you just fully you know ignore this. Uh, but I was thinking this is like kind of this a safe move for red, right? A risky one is like just putting a rebel there, and then going 3, kind of having this stronger threat, right? Because what was the idea? I guess with this, what can blue do? Blue can try to. Well, I mean, we could really go into a very symmetric game here if we so choose. 1, 2, uh, and 3, 4. Uh, you could almost go so far as to, yeah. Um, is this safe? I don't think this is safe, right? Because unfreeze, bam, bam. Yeah, same idea. So if you want to defend against this, you need at least 2 actions. Yeah, so I'm also kind of in the back of my mind considering ideas like putting something off to the side somewhere and getting 2 farms. It seems like a big investment though, right? Because 3 actions, that's like almost a whole turn. But if things kind of continue to stagnate, that's a thought. There's also the idea of just uh, like fully walling 1, 2, 3, and then what? Uh, it's almost like you don't have many ideas for. At this point, you're playing moves like this, right? Um, yeah. So there was it feels like there was something in like this blues idea of like taking your own kind of front of your um, main nobility, right? So that the other player doesn't take it, so that it doesn't occupy, all the space. So space management seems kind of like a key component here. But yeah, this is all like a very precise game, right? Like where if you make like a single mistake anywhere, it's like really punishing. Right? Walking this kind of tight wire, tightrope, something. So I think I wanted to just explore this more kind of open idea, right? This more volatile line. So we have to. Uh, so not really going like full commitment. So I think full commitment would be something like um, this. This to me seems like full commitment. That's like there's no saving that nobility really. I think. No, you can. I mean, you can just wall all this off, and then yeah. So spend. What if you leave a space open? So you do this, this, bam. So you go 1, 2, walk in 3. Can't can't even finish. No, you can. Uh, you destroy and then destroy. Yeah, you could finish off. Yeah, it's interesting. Oh, that's kind of cool looking. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, we're gonna go with the. I like that. That's honestly fun. Uh, yeah, It's hard to pick a line, honestly, right? Uh, there's kind of a lot of like you don't know what's good. So as red, so what seems the most exciting? Uh, let's try. Let's try this. Let's try nobility here. Uh, let's try this line. Okay, so let's commit to it and let's like analyze something. uh, Interesting thought over here. I tried to ask myself what I would do as blue in this position. And my gut says like, well, this, right? So 1, 2. Yeah, so that's an interesting thing about like these forward nobility, right? Is that they, there's a threat of them getting just walled in. Yeah, this is a funny game, honestly, because yeah, it's a funny game because you see all this like a lot of like building, right? Uh, right, and then space just kind of gets filled up. Uh, and I think part of the reason is that if you build like mercenaries or something, right? That's like scary, right? Because people take advantage of that. The opposing player just kind of goes, and same with this like barracks. Okay. Uh, anyway, so the move I was thinking of was something like 1, 2 to wall, and then 3, 4. So the 4, what does the 4 do? Basically, just gets more space. Yeah, just fighting for space. So blue is threatening like 1, like 2, 3 destroy with that. So blue seems strong here. So let's analyze that. And then if we see that red is really weak, then maybe our previous move for red, we could think of something else for it. Okay, so here's what I've come up with. 1, 2. Really kind of favoring these like walling in tactics. Right, because it's so hard to like mess with this, right? It takes so much moves while in, it's a little quicker. Um, it's funny. It's like this like artificial sort of protection around your base, right? That seems kind of only like to me feels only viable if like you're actually you know dealing with an immediate threat, right? Okay, so we go 3. So why this? Because um, we want to prevent 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So I'm thinking. So the key is that they could still go here, but then there's not enough space, right? For mercenary, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then what? Oh, and then rebel. Yeah, that's kind of a. That's a whoops. Okay, so what I'm seeing now is if we have to cover both of these squares, uh, simplest way to do it is to wall, right? The other way to do it is to place. So with the wall, you still get an extra action. So I was thinking like the last action could be like something like this right here. Maybe even this. This is even kind of more. No, I don't know. Something like this maybe. Right. So yeah, so the idea is one, two, three. One. What am I saying? Right. So the idea was either two more red pieces or wall red piece over here. Yeah. So yeah. The thing about the red pieces, why is that kind of? Why does that seem kind of nice? Well, it's because we could start placing farms around them if we really want to. Right. Which is kind of just threatening in and of itself. Yep. But this is kind of more in your face, this or this, than 1, 2. Yeah, I think we'll try to seek the offensive route and then maybe go back on that if we want to. Looking at this, mercenary, destroy. It actually isn't a threat because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can only build 2 mercenaries, then you're out of range. But you could do move mercenary. So that's something to keep in mind. You have to figure that out. Yeah. I mean, at worst, it's trading a move for a blue move, right? Or half move. Okay, so let's do some base trade analysis. Okay, so let's say, for example, 1, 2, 3. Ooh, what's the matter between these two? I don't know. Say 4. 4. I don't know. Whatever. Middle one. Okay. It could be this one too. 1, 2, 3, 4. Red has the option to go 1. I think this is better to protect yourselves, like on this side, right? Although someone could go bam bam. As opposed to, yeah, that's 2 actions as opposed to 1, which is just to freeze. Okay, so we do this. 4. So what does blue do from here? So blue probably finishes the base trade. 1, 2 claims this part, 3, and then denies red, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, can't reach it. Doesn't deny red? What could you do? 1, 2, 4, 5, you can't do anything. Can't even do anything. With all that power. So does blue take this option and does red take this option? Oof. Okay, here's an alternative idea for blue. 1, 2, I think. Think there? Yeah, probably. Unless you here, but then okay. Yeah, we could do that. No, I like that more. Why do you like that? Free up the space. Oh, this is a threat. 1, 2, 3. Maybe here because 1. But then red's gonna take it for sure. So probably over here. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, and then do some kind of move like this, filling space. You know, yeah, that looks nice. Right, and red can't. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. Yeah, I can only go up to here, so it could go 1, 2 mercenaries, but can't do a third one. So 3, 4 is impossible. Yeah, let's go with that. So defensively, completely shutting this down is an option, I think, for red. So see, as soon as you place a mercenary, right? 1, 2, 3. 4 is a pretty big shutdown. But like, yeah, then again, it's it's very passive. It's very defensive. There's potential for red for something like 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So these 2 destroyed. Like that. So that's interesting. Right. So completely ignoring the attack. And then then what happens to you? Then you get what happens to you? So it's a bit of a base trade. We go. Okay, so there's no super serious threat on blue from this position, right? Because it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So blue would go like 1, 2, 3, 4, I would think, so in order to try to take this position. So the attack from red, I think, is eventually kind of losing because it's easier for blue to take the position. Unless, wait, blue does that, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's not great. Um, gotta say. So that means we shouldn't do that as red. Hmm. What blue in general has going for them is that their pieces are a lot kind of better off than reds. Especially this one's. This is just strong and annoying. Maybe we'll get rid of that as red. Okay, so I think I have an idea of what I want to do. So kind of like the other move. So 1, 2, 3. But instead of just walling, we're going to like it doesn't seem good. It doesn't seem like anything good will come for red out of this, but we'll see. That. Hmm. Hmm. Could see blue going guard, destroy, guard, mercy, something like that. That's or just or even that's interesting. But wait, does that prevent 1, 2, 3? No, it doesn't. Does the other one? Yeah, the other one does. No, no, this prevents it because you need to get unfrozen. Yeah, it's kind of funny looking, isn't it? Freezing 2 of your pieces. Um, so instead, 1. Like it's scary, right? Because if you start to build mercenaries over here, blue could just come and steal that. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's no good for these purposes, right? Plus, you could get unfrozen over here. Ooh, not good. Okay, I think I like this for sure. Am I really just walling, or is this better? Yeah, let's do this. Let's do this. Okay. So I think I might take a pause on this game. Uh, been looking at it for quite some time. Uh, as blue, I'm starting to feel like kind of getting bogged down a little bit. Right? There's nothing you could do, right? Um, 1, 2, 3, and then 4 doesn't do much. Um, yeah. One, one, bam, 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 bam. Yeah. Anyways, uh, yeah. So I'm like tempted to start giving myself, actions this way. So that's a thought, something like that, and maybe even like walling this off. Uh, yeah, that's a thought. But yeah, anyways, we'll, we'll leave this. Maybe I'll like rewatch the video and then see if we want to come back to it or not.